Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Section 214 podcast. I'm Hammer here with JS and Ascent. Um, been a little while, not too long, month and a half. This episode will release on 214, February 14th. The most significant thing happening
Well, we're
that day.
recording on the 12th, so
Yeah,
there might be some things going on in between the 2 days, but this is a special 214 episode for this year. And
we've been excited for this one, and I mean, as you said, I mean, so much has happened in off seasons of every sport. Like just earlier today, the BC Lions made some more moves. So that's been going on. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss some hockey trades, a lot's gone on in the hockey world. Um, we'll talk about the NFL. Something big happened this weekend. I mean, I see your shirt right there, Ascent.
yes, yeah, I am very happy. It's like the football gods kind of gave me a mulligan on this one, considering all that's happened the
Yeah.
past few months, and I'm like, okay, we'll give you a Super Bowl championship just to make up for all that pain. Uh, yeah, I gotta say it was a pretty magical run. I mean, for the Eagles, I mean, even if it's at the expense of my other favorite team, the Green Bay Packers, right? But uh, sacrifices must be made.
Yeah, what a
So
season.
yeah, I
We
mean,
had both
I'll
teams
take.
starting off in Brazil and then one of them facing off in the playoffs, ending up a Super Bowl win.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time it happened actually. Like I remember in 20, well, when the Packers won their last Super Bowl, they actually beat the Eagles on their way to the Super Bowl. So it's kind of like a
Hmm.
Freaky Friday kind of thing too. So uh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, and I guess a couple things I want to say is that I wore this exact combination of this hat and this shirt for the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. So I'm going, yeah, if it works for football, I might as well try it for the Grey Cup, maybe, or just an Eagles shirt and a Lions hat, maybe, or just uh,
I hope that worked for a Stanley Cup for the Canucks because we've been starved of that. Um,
yeah, and
we've not
Much
been
too
starved
long.
for
yeah, and then
trades.
yeah, and then I won't. I even said in the Discord chat I won't gloat about the Super Bowl win too much because you root for the Chargers,
Yeah. Hey,
and
I'm glad to see the Chiefs lose.
yeah, at least it was that right. Like the AFC West was like united and seeing the Chiefs lose.
Oh yeah.
Actually, most other football fandoms I noticed were ended up being like united and wanting the Chiefs to lose, right? Because before it was always talk about, this Super Bowl is so predictable, it's so boring, and I guess in a way, for a neutral fan, it was because the Eagles just like destroyed. Even I was shocked of how badly the Eagles destroyed the Chiefs in the biggest stage. Right? I went. In fact, I think that was probably the most dominating team effort I have ever seen in a championship winning team. Like, 'cause most of the times for teams I root for, like those games, they're usually tight, except for the 2011 Grey Cup. That was
Oh yeah.
the Lions did run away with that one, but most, but that was like even more. This one was even more demolishing. I, I was Florida. uh, yeah. So yeah, I'm just glad the football gods gave me a little treat for this right just while I went through and yeah, I
Um, What do you
I
think of the
I
Super
al-
Bowl, Jacob? Was
I was quite disappointed with the game, I'll be honest, as someone who was neutral. I was hoping it would be a little more exciting than that, but I was kind of checked out of it by halftime, honestly. Just it was just a total dud. I had hoped that, you know, Kansas City would make a game of it towards the end, but they didn't, and I didn't watch most of the fourth quarter because I knew it was a foregone conclusion.
I wasn't.
And
yeah,
yeah,
Although I
neither.
would say I was still terrified, even when it was like 24-0 at halftime. I was still there was that little doomer part of my mind that goes, "But what if they blow it?" And then I'm gonna probably just hide forever.
well, there's
And
always that risk. Remember, it was 28 to 3, right? I don't what year was that? 2017, 2018? The Fal
2017.
2017, yeah, the Falcons. It was 28 to 3. So I was like, it was 24 to nothing. That's a 24-point game. we saw a 25-point lead, 28-3 get blown. So I'm like, nothing, it can happen, but it didn't happen this time. So there you go.
No. And I guess another funny thing about this game was, well, my mom was actually she she's been bandwagoning the Chiefs the past 2 years, right? And
Oh
I'm going,
no.
yeah. And at one point, I got
No.
I got so loud when it became 32-0, and then my mom came downstairs and asked me, "Are you just being extra? Are you just being
No, it's the
extra
Super
just
Bowl.
to spite me?" I'm going, no, this is how I always when my team's winning, badly too, right? Like if the Suns were beating the Leafs to sweep, or like they destroyed them in Game 7, I would have been like,
Oh yeah.
the
When
roof
you're
would have been
starving,
blown off, right? Yeah.
when you're starving for a win like that, I'm sure you'll celebrate.
Yes.
Like if we beat the Bombers, imagine, imagine us in our
Yeah.
living rooms. What would it be like?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe this Super Bowl, like the Chiefs are obviously the Goliath of this situation, right? But
Hmm.
and normally our favorite teams don't beat these Goliaths, but yeah, maybe this is the start of something. And we'll get into near the end. There was the CFL schedule did get released, I believe, a month ago or
Did it?
so, and there's there's already like one thing about it I noticed that I'm going, oh boy. We'll get into that in a bit, but yeah, there's of course, and now there's some other things that we have to get through too. I guess we'll talk about these guys.
Uh,
Uh,
the Canucks.
Boy,
A lot
what a
happened.
roller coaster of 2 months we've been on watching this team. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot happened. If you follow me on Twitter or anything, like you'll know that I was not happy with the JT Miller trade. Not because of the trade, because I'm really sad to see JT Miller go. So first thing that happened, we traded JT Miller for pretty much Philip Hedl and a first round pick. Same day, we trade that first round pick for Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor while dumping Danton Heinen and Marcus Pettersson. And the funny
Mm.
thing that happened throughout those days is I realized, so this year I got to meet JT Miller, I met Danton Heinen, and I met Mark Friedman, who also got traded for future
Oh yeah,
consideration.
he
Um,
got traded, right?
they're all nice guys, hockey players, they're good dudes, but we got a bit of a curse going on. If I meet a player, they're shipped out pretty quickly. Um,
Well,
Can you go
it
meet
happened.
Aquilini too?
It happened to
I
me.
hope so.
I'd like that.
It happened to me too. I mean, I met Markstrom in the North Van Auto Mall, like right before he left for Calgary too. So yeah,
Yeah, me and
all of us
Jacob
have
met
course.
Kuzmenko Mikheyev.
We did. When was that? 2022, right? And they both got traded like 2 weeks later or something.
Yeah, like
Don't
My
remember the exact
God,
date, but that was pretty wild.
yeah. And
No wonder
then
they weren't that
these
happy to
dudes.
see us because they
what
weren't. They
about?
were pretty grumpy that day.
Yeah, I know. Like we were
I know
losing back then.
So I don't blame them.
a bunch, and then oh, and then there's the Lions players that you met. There's been a couple cuts too that kind of shocked me a little bit, but we'll get to that too. And then
Mhm.
I guess, well, as far as the trades go, I mean, I think they were hard trades, but they were necessary trades considering
Yeah.
the way the season was going. And they've improved quite dramatically since then. I think they were like 7-1-1 since that, or in
Mhm.
10 games. So yeah, they're getting
They've played
hot at the right
really,
time.
really well the last week or so heading into the break.
Yeah, the Four
It
Nations
kind of
break,
doesn't
which is
feel like it.
going
I
on
keep
right
losing track
now,
because
but
they were losing so much, and they kept losing so much, and then I blinked and I'm like, oh my goodness, they've actually won a whole bunch of games here, which is good. They're now 3 points above Calgary for the last playoff spot. There's none of this, something that I think I'm hyped on before, but there's none of this games in hand BS that we have to worry about right now. They've actually played the same number of games as everybody for once, which means
yeah.
that the points, are a true reflection of where they are because every single year it's like, oh, we're tied for the last playoff spot, but Calgary has 10 games in hand, right? It's not like that this year, thank goodness.
Yeah, although again, Vancouver is also pretty close to Los Angeles as well. But again, who like in kind of a picture of poison kind of thing? Do you want Vegas or Edmonton,
Yeah.
or the best team in the Central, which is Winnipeg right now?
Yeah,
I
I
remember
know
last year
it's
we were looking at it and we were seeing like who are we going to play? We're going to play Nashville, LA, but we were telling ourselves like we can beat anybody when we're at our peak. I'm not so sure about this year. I mean, we have been on a roll the last couple of weeks. Philip Heedle's been electric. I think Marcus Pettersson's a good addition, but we've not
Mm.
really figured out what type of team we are yet. Um, like earlier in the year, like, oh, we could be sellers, or maybe we're a contender now. Who knows? Only time will tell.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I think
what I'm also
the
yeah.
break is probably good because of the rest that players like Hughes are getting right now. The break, as much as it's frustrating to kind of stall the momentum, I think the recovery from injuries is
Oh,
more beneficial than anything else right now. And the fact that, the Canucks have 2 weeks off, which is kind of boring because I don't get that excited about international hockey
yeah.
myself, but it's important right now.
I'm glad
Yeah,
Hughes is taking that to rest.
that's why we're doing this call, right? We're just it's the one thing that we can do while a lot of sports are on pause. I mean, do we really want to watch basketball a whole lot? I don't think so.
I only
Yeah,
watch basketball through Twitter because a lot of trades are happening, but generally I don't think any of us watch basketball. Or you do a bit.
I watch a little bit. I
Yeah.
watch a little bit of Grizzlies basketball. I mean, as much as it is sacrilege to Vancouver sports fans, like why would you watch the Grizzlies?
Mhm.
uh, it's kind of still a sore moment, even what 24 years after they left. So
Yeah.
yeah, in fact, I remember watching a game, right? So I'm like probably I remember being there courtside as a 3-year-old, right? So I just
Damn.
yeah. Um,
I just want to say one thing before we switch topics. Why would you trade Doncic for what? For AD and a first round pick? I'm just still appalled by that trade. Don't watch basketball, but I cannot believe the Doncic trade. I'm sure like everybody in the world thinks the same thing. They just
oh,
self-destructed right there.
oh, my dad's very happy because he's also a Lakers fan. So
Oh, lucky for him.
yeah, he just loves well, he just loves super successful franchises mostly, right? Habs,
Mm.
Lakers, Raiders before. But yeah, it's yeah, I guess like the hockey or the CFL equivalent, or well, first the hockey equivalent would be, I don't know, I guess trading McDavid for just a picks and a deaf player.
Yeah, right. Mark Stone.
Yeah. Oh, please let that happen in the Oilers, please. I just want to we just have uh Rogers plays burned to the ground from
I would
Oilers
love it.
fans if that happened, right?
Yeah.
uh yeah, and I
Um,
guess it's
what was I gonna say? One,
yeah,
we talked
sorry,
about the last off-season move before we move on to the Lions, which would be my off-season move.
yeah, and this is nothing to do with sports too, and I was I was pretty saddened to hear this, but I mean it's probably necessary considering career
Yeah.
paths and everything, right?
So I'll start
Uh
off by saying, I'm not at home right now, and I don't think anybody can do like a GeoGuessr on my setup. You can't really see, but
unless
um,
you're Wayne Bolt.
yeah, I know. Um, I'm in the Douglas College Library. I'm this in this silent study booth, so nobody can hear me out there or in front of me.
Yeah, we
We're
were
doing the
supposed to do it
podcast.
in like yeah, we were supposed to do it in a
Yeah,
podcast studio, but you had to
I
do
just
other
didn't.
things.
It was free. I just didn't do the tutorial in time, but hopefully before I leave Douglas College, I'll have a chance to do that. So I'm
Mm,
transferring to UBC in September, so that's cool.
yeah.
Um, Happy about it. Also a little um sad in a way because I like Douglas College. It's a great school. I mean, we got a podcast studio. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how much cool stuff we have here. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, maybe in September or whatever, we'll see if they have a podcast studio at UBC. They probably will, or study booths like this. So,
Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a trek for me, but I can make it work. I mean, I've been there
yep.
before, but it's gonna take hours for me to get there instead of minutes. Uh,
Let's see next episode if I've done the tutorial yet. This was just me being lazy, but I think this is pretty cool as well. When I found out I'm doing it in this podcast studio, or not podcast, silent studio, they encourage podcasting in here, but I was pretty excited about it.
And those
So,
like those what
yeah.
do they call those little individual rooms.
hmm.
There's enough space here. At UVic, they have some as well. They call them tech booths.
Oh, does it sound
We
booth
got
like this one?
In
we
theory, I could have booked one for today, but I didn't get around to it in time, so I didn't. I was not able to book one. Moral of the
Hmm.
story: book one sooner.
Yep.
yeah,
I'm gonna do a
and
tutorial
also
later.
this yeah also that's I think that podcast studio might be just at the New West campus. I haven't checked if it's in the Coquitlam campus,
Yeah,
but
it's just at New West.
yeah, I
They
think it
have
would
these in
because
both campuses.
yeah, those study rooms are good too because they're soundproofed, right? And obviously, I can
Yes.
tell it's soundproofed. uh,
Is my audio
I
a bit different?
a little bit, but not.
Okay.
It's great. I mean, I wish I had that kind of soundproofing in my room. Like I could hear the footsteps upstairs. uh, yeah. So yeah, I mean, much as it's bittersweet to learn about that, but I mean, UBC is a pretty fantastic university on all
Yeah.
fronts, accreditations and
I'll
everything.
always be
And
thankful for you because you're the reason I went to Douglas College. You're the reason I knew it existed. So I've had such a great time here. Would encourage people to go here. Um, yeah, that's
yeah,
that's
if you're
my
on the
off-season move.
Metro Vancouver, yeah, if you're on the Metro Vancouver area, especially New Westminster, yeah, this is the
Yep,
college to go to.
super
uh,
nice people.
yeah. So yeah, I'll probably be sure to make another visit once the snow clears up, because
Oh yeah,
I can't move. I can't move around outside my house as much when it's snowed out there. So
don't have snow tires.
yeah, no, I no, I could have chose a wheelchair with just off-road capability, but then it'd be like a glorified ATV.
Tractor, tank tracks.
Tractor, yeah, yeah, just put a cannon on there and just just go on the road and start blowing things up. Yeah, uh, yeah,
All right.
yeah. So that's that little preamble out of the way. So I guess, well, big preamble because it was just a lot of extra stuff to talk about. But yeah, we'll get into the meat of what we're talking about here. I mean, we're a CFL BC Lions podcast first, so. That's why I put this as the number two item on the list here. So first off, there's been coaching hirings obviously since Buck Pierce was hired and at the coach, and so there's Mike Benavides has been upgraded from special teams to defensive coordinator, which I think that's more of his element really. He didn't
Yeah,
really.
He used to be a head
He
coach for us, right?
used to be a head coach,
he
yeah,
did,
just
and he was
after.
lousy. He was lousy. I
Okay.
was not happy with him. I remember.
Well, no, he was
But
good his first year, but yeah, then just wasn't good.
on a
And
whole, I thought he knew how to coach the players pretty well, but I remember his game management was very questionable at times. Like I remember there was a game when the Lions were in Montreal and they were leading by 2 points, I think it was, and Montreal had the ball, and it was right at the end of the game, like 20 seconds to go, and for whatever reason he called a timeout, which gave Montreal extra time to win the game. And from that, I was like, I don't know what on earth you're doing. He's from what I see, he's more successful in the defensive role. So I'm glad that he's gotten that because that's his niche per se, and I'm glad that he's been moved there.
yeah, like and it's kind of like been a bit of a uh narrative around the coordinators is that some coordinators they work well in their element. They don't work as head coaches or anything else, right? Like they're better with coordinating like one aspect of a game, right? Like see
I'm
a
thinking
lot
about the
of
Broncos
the Bill
coach that
Bel
one year.
yeah, a lot of the Bill Belichick tree, right?
Hmm.
Matt Patricia, uh, being an
What's
infamous
his
one,
name? Nathaniel Hackett.
Daniel Hackett, yeah. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, we got Mike Benavides as the D coordinator, so he kind of moved up in the coaching tree there. Corey McDiarmid, a special teams coordinator. Considering the Terry Williams experience, I mean, I hope
Mhm.
this is the right hire, right?
Just give us
We
what
don't
you
know.
said at this point.
Yeah, we don't know who our kick return guy is yet, but that'll be answered in training camp, I'm sure.
Hmm.
uh, yeah, so it's that. So that's going to be a position I'm going to be focusing on, just to see if anything changes. Like, hopefully we get a punt return touchdown, son. That's all I ask.
We knew that was not going to happen the last 2 years.
My goodness,
Could have, but
there was Yeah. Anyways, Kevin Bourguin, I think that's how you pronounce the name. Bour Bourguin, wide receivers coach, and then Paul Charbonneau, offensive line coach and offensive line. I mean, the offensive line last year. I mean, it was good in the first half, obviously, of the season when they had the 5-1 start, but then the cracks started to show, and then they were really, it was really apparent that, yeah, it was still an issue, right? It was kind of like false hope that O-line was going to be steady the whole season, but I mean,
It
obviously, injuries
was
have a part in that too, right? I mean, like I remember, Tyler Packer, uh, I think, and then the guy, oh shoot, the guy I met, I forgot his name, but yeah, I met,
Luger.
yeah, Lugo, yeah, him.
Didn't he get extended as well? Just I'm probably jumping the gun, but
Uh, see,
my my bad.
but yeah, so yeah, the online coach, and then Ryan Phillips is the secondary coach, which I think yeah, he was stepping down from being like a full-time defense coordinator, and then more of a secondary, and obviously he was a great you know cornerback for the Lions, right? So uh, in his day, in my day. Uh, and then yeah, Randy Melvin, defensive line coach. Glenn Young is the linebacker coach, and Derek Oswald is the assistant coach. Now, now one of the big things that jumped out at me, because I'm reading this from the BC Lions article written by Matt Baker. Hi, Matt. I met you in on tap. He's a nice guy. Uh, but yeah, one thing I noticed in like all these coaching hires, a lot of them were from the Bombers, right?
Yeah.
Uh, like the recent jobs were from the Bombers, right? So it's kind of like I even put a I even said this at the time, like when it was the coaching staff was announced. I said, if you can't beat them, join them, right?
Please.
It's kind of like okay, sports are winners are creatures of habit, and also like to like to you know repeat things. I mean, like obviously now that the Eagles won the championship, I mean you got like every team in the league probably studying every team in the NFL just studying the Eagles for how they beat the Chiefs, right?
Well,
Uh,
I'm gonna go off topic for a second, but your OC, Kellen Moore, went to the Saints the day after. What frustrated me a little bit is he was the Chargers OC the year before. Um,
yeah,
I didn't even think he was that great, and then he wins the Super Bowl with you guys. So I don't know. That says
and
something about either Jalen Hurts or him, but that happens to teams that are good. Like the Blue Bombers, they got Buck Pierce swooped up by us, which I'm excited for.
yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously there's still the umbrage that coordinators don't necessarily make good head coaches, but we're hoping this is like a home run from the get-go. It has to be, especially when we've still got Nathan Rourke as our young quarterback at the moment, right? He's still
Yeah,
he's still like in the prime of his career, so yeah, he's he's got some pressure on his shoulders, and then Buck Pierce should be able to help with that as a quarterback for us back in the day too. So
definitely.
yeah, so yeah, we're just yeah, I guess we're just replicating what the Bombers' success had, and I don't mind that. I mean, it was annoying how often they shot us down when we thought we had hope. So you know,
I think, I mean, probably could all agree on this, but I'm just really excited for the prospect of like an entirely new coaching system after a lot
mm,
of things
Yeah,
didn't go our way last year. And I think they got a bit tuned out of Rick Campbell, but also the what do you call it, defensive structure, the coverage. I just didn't like that.
yeah, and
So there's a lot of things to work through.
Rick Campbell's now like the special teams coordinator for Ottawa now. So
Oh, he's back.
yeah, yeah, I think I learned that from the Senators Discord of all places. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, not
Uh,
as expected.
but yeah, well, uh, I wish Rick all the best of luck for him.
of
And
course.
Me too.
so yeah, well, so yeah, we'll now get into the trades and the signings and also the cuts. So I did put this in chronological order from when we last did our episode with just me and Hammer. uh, so until now, so we've got so we first we've traded Ryder Varga and a second round pick for next year to Toronto, Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. So for Dijon Allen at our lineman, so our lineman help is definitely needed.
So O-lineman help. He was a 2 year and oh my God, two-time All-Star 2 years in a row, 23, 24, and CFL's most outstanding offensive lineman in 2023. So I like this move. Two-time Grey Cup champ. Sucks to see Varka go, but I think this is a necessary move. The O-line, we've been complaining about it so much late in the stretch, and this can only be an improvement to what we have.
Well,
Definitely.
it's top to bottom improvement
Yeah.
from probably from just one guy, right? Like we got like an all-star lineman. Don't really
Hmm.
you don't yeah they're the unsung heroes of a football team usually. So when you get like an all-star lineman, that's major. Yeah, and then Sean White is going to be kicking field goals for us again next year, so that's great.
Love it.
Yeah,
We've struggled with that for the last few years, having some good consistency. Nothing
Yeah.
to complain about. When do I ever say that?
no, no. As much as we complain about the special team, that's just the return aspect, not the field goal kicking. If it was both, then our record would be just a lot worse than it was.
Literally.
My goodness. Yeah, and then we kind of traded uh running backs in a way. I mean, we cut Stanback, who also signed with the Red Blacks, along with you know Rick Campbell as well. So a lot of Ottawa BC connection here. But yeah, we released Stanback and he went to the Red Blacks, and then we've signed James Butler back in free agency from
Welcome
Hamilton. And
back.
yeah,
Yeah, we
Most
liked James Butler
definitely.
when he was here.
yeah. Well, he was a part of that. The team that went to the Western Conference Final back in 2022. So uh, that was uh, that was before we decided on this podcast. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was yeah,
I
it'd
think
be nice.
he did struggle a little bit in Hamilton, didn't he? I know he was getting benched a
Everybody
few.
struggled in Hamilton,
No, that's true. Yeah.
except for that one game where they came back against us. But
It's a game
uh,
that me and Jacob were at, and then we got on TV.
yeah, I took a picture of you
When
for
was this?
that.
I have no
It was
memory
a
of this.
forgettable game. Don't remember.
Okay, that's probably why I forgot about it.
Yeah, just boop. You get Men in Black to right.
Literally.
Uh, so yeah, traded in running backs just by cutting and signing in free agency, and then this is a big cut too. Well,
Bad
there's
one.
two cuts, big cuts. So releasing Alex Hollins, and he hasn't signed with anyone at the time of us recording this. I mean, he could have signed with someone else like as we're recording this, which I doubt. But
That's sad
consider
news.
Alex Hollins is one of my favorite Lions. Um, he actually, I don't know if this is like saying something stalking because he's kind of made it known, but he lives in New West, like right outside. And I saw him e-scootering around once. I saw him at the station once as well. And I wish I could have said hi to him, but he's just too quick, like he was on the field. Made some big catches for us over the last couple of years. He's Batman. Had good chemistry with Hatcher. So it's sad to see him go. He's a good personality as well.
yeah,
Um,
it was like the 1-2 punch of McInnes and Hollins being tall receivers that can outrun defenders at any time. But
mhm.
and also speaking of McInnes, I mean the good news was we did extend him for 2 years as well, so he's under
Yeah.
us for a while. But
He really
yeah,
broke out this year. We could see what he was really capable of, and I think once him and Rourke, really acclimated together in training camp, I think, well, we've been saying that a few times, Rourke, full training camp, but he's a great piece. We love to have him back.
yeah, not just back, but just locked in here.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, and then a couple minor moves. So this well, this take place on either end of the other move we're going to talk about, but it's we signed Jeremiah Masoli to a 1 year deal. A
Nice.
I'm
veteran
a big fan of
quarterback
this
from
one.
yeah, veteran quarterbacks up. They did that's uh that's very helpful considering what we were down to last year after Adams got injured and before Rook came in. We had Dolagala.
Oh my
uh,
goodness.
I think we lost every game with him, and then we cut him.
well, just the one game.
Oh, still.
No,
Oh
it's just the
man, I
one
don't
game. It
know.
was it was the Edmonton game that I was the only one that I was recording for. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Either
So,
way, I still don't want to think about that anymore. So this is a good move, and
mhm.
I'm a big
And
fan of Masoli. I know he's had his injury struggles over the years, but it's good to see him in a Lions uniform.
Yeah. The
yeah,
thing I
and
noticed when he was getting injured is that people really like him. Um, Locker room presence, and fans really like him as well. So I'm happy.
yeah, and then of course to replace the loss of Vargo, we signed a Tiger Cat D liner, Dwayne Hendricks, which I love that name. Like Dwayne Hendricks, and
Hendricks.
and it's Hendricks in the exact spelling as Jimi Hendrix, right? Like the Woodstock singer. uh, yeah, so it's nice that
His neck.
it's nice that the front office is plugging holes in immediately after losing it, right? Like running back, like D line, and then O line as well, for sure. Uh, and then uh,
Yeah, this one. It's something.
yeah. This one was you called it. It was a total CFL move to make because we cut Keon Hatcher briefly for a day,
Yeah.
and that was only just to facilitate restructuring his contract, right? So
I thought
for
that
the
we
year,
actually cut him, and I think a lot of people did, obviously, but the concept of cutting Hollins and Hatcher like within days was just heartbreaking to me. And then they brought him back. I'm like, what? This is the CFL. Like, of course something like this is gonna happen.
yeah, it's kind of I mean, I made a joke about it with like the Lions and the New Orleans Saints. Speaking of the Saints, before they're used to just restructuring their contracts often because of trying to stay under the salary cap and everything, right? So that was kind of just a total just compliance move, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, he's with us for the year, so that's gonna be in the next off season. That'll be it'll be interesting to see if he continues to have a great season with us as he's had been so far. And
Can I
then
talk about receivers for a second? I wanna,
yeah,
because last couple years, Lions have had tremendous luck with wide receivers, and felt like in 2022, Rhymes was the best in the league, and then the year after we had Hatcher be one of the best in the league, and then McInnes had so many yards last season, we had to extend him as well. I feel like next season, our
Eberhard.
fourth straight season of getting a standout, yeah, you call it Aiden Eberhard, he'll have our standout wide receiver
Yep.
season. I couldn't go an episode without mentioning Aiden Eberhard. Um, but it's just, I mean, we lose Hollins. It's really sad because I did like him, but it's so exciting wide receiving core.
Yeah, it's still a strong receiving core. I mean, even despite losing him, so that's the important thing to just remember. Uh, it just yeah, well, and it's not just the offense either because I mean, on the defense, I mean, we made these cuts and signings, but the other major cut that just got announced, like I wrote down the notes for this episode, and then just immediately after I finished it, and I screen capped and I showed it to you guys, saying like, okay, how's this? And then like almost immediately after we learned that TJ Lee got cut.
Hmm.
Uh,
That
Boy,
stings.
that stings. I mean, he is also a bit long in the tooth as well in terms of age. So I'm curious if he's just going to straight up retire because I think he's only been a Lion his entire career. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, so
since
m- m-
2014.
Yeah, God, I've spent 11 years in the team. Yeah, that's long in the tooth, right? Even
It's
though,
sad. I really like him.
yeah, even though 11
The
years doesn't
business.
seem like that long ago, I mean, but it's a long time for a defender, right?
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, so yeah, I have a feeling he either is gonna maybe sign with maybe a Grey Cup contending team like the Bomber. Oh my God, no, please
Don't
no.
even.
Now that I've spoken
Go to
into
the East if
existence,
you
it'll
want to go somewhere
happen.
else.
Please go to the East if you're gonna go somewhere else or retire.
Yeah. I just want to say TJ Lee, one of my favorite moments as a Lions fan in 2022, he had two pick sixes, I think, in the same game. Or no, at least one of them. He had
That was against
120
Winnipeg, wasn't
yards.
it?
It was against
Yeah.
Winnipeg. Um, you helped me out getting tickets to that game. That we clinched a home playoff game
I
that
remember
year.
I was not there, but I remember that you were there and it was very exciting.
Yeah, it was election day. But
That's right.
that was a great day. I'll always remember. And then I tagged him in my tweet. He retweeted it, so it was pretty cool. But
Oh yeah, you got some exposure there.
a little bit.
A little bit,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's a lot of memorable moments. Even if these players got we've cut. I mean, yeah, it's still
yeah,
something. There's something about them that we remember them by for just feel good stuff, right?
yeah. You watched him
Uh,
and Hector both go through Achilles rehab in the past year after, so they came back this season. So I hope they come back stronger. Whoever they, well, Patrick
Whoever
came
he
back good.
signs with, yeah.
Yeah,
And I guess
still processing the Hatcher thing, but yeah,
yeah, Hatcher and Lee gone, but yeah, at least we still keep some of our mainstays too. But yeah, it's just kind of just a reality of just every CFL offseason. Like you have to make hard decisions to make a championship roster or a contender. Uh,
yeah.
Again, that's kind of what that's what the Eagles did. But it's been like home runs on most of them, right? With Saquon Barkley, especially. Thanks, New York. Uh,
What a signing.
Yeah, yeah, it's it. I can only wish that some kind of seismic CFL signing would happen with us at one point. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe we sign Brady Oliveira. Hey,
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine?
yeah,
Imagine that.
yeah. We would be deleting all like I'd be going through each one of our episodes and just delete the part where I said we hate him. Just scalpel that out of there. Uh,
Hey, I've
so
always said I hate him because he's good. I think I've made that clear.
yeah, we hate him because he's good, and he always has like 100-yard rushing game against us. Right, so
Yeah.
uh, yeah, and I guess well, the last thing on the docket, well, we're done with the trades and cuts for now, as long as there's nothing that happens during the recording. But again, I doubt it. But uh, the last thing on this docket here is that there's going to be we're not done. We're not done with CFL games in on the island. JS, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, very exciting. I got an email. I heard about it from Hammer, but then I discovered it in my junk folder just now, actually. That I don't know why it's in my junk folder, but the BC Lions will be playing the preseason game against Calgary on Victoria Day. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what day it is, but Victoria Day,
The
the long
19th.
weekend in Langford, BC, which is a suburb of Victoria, at the Starlight Stadium, which is it's a nice little stadium. It's kind of nestled into a bit of a valley between a bunch of mountains. It's got about 6,000 seats. I've been to a couple of Whitecaps games there when the Whitecaps have come over to the island for Canadian Championship games, and they won both of them. So hopefully, when I get to see my team come to Langford for the third time, they'll win again. That'll be a nice little event. This is what I thought they should have done last year for the Touchdown Pacific with the like all the money they spent, like taxpayer money they spent rebuilding that temporary stadium at Royal Athletic Park, which is now gone. But
Oh well.
God, I
so
didn't
I
know
thought,
that.
yeah, it's completely gone. I thought it would have made sense to play it at Starlight Stadium, which you already have a stadium there, but I guess they wanted more than, 6,000 seats
6,000, yeah.
plus this stadium is very much not transit accessible. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So there's going to be a lot of people driving and very few people busing to get there. So I can understand why they did it where they did. But
Uh,
yeah, looking forward to it.
yeah, that's. I mean, it wouldn't matter for me because I was driving in anyways. But for the touchdown Pacific game, but yeah, I imagine. Well, they probably wouldn't have been able to. Well, I mean, I mainly think about that score, the scoreboard issue in the touchdown Pacific game that I ranted about a little bit when we did that recap right back
Yep.
last year or so. Uh, so they had to work with what they got, right? And then you had to pull it off. So,
Well,
no,
Starlight Stadium has a nice screen. It's not fancy per se, but it works. So that's good.
I feel like the fact that that's a preseason game, like they're just trying it out, seeing if they could do something for the regular season, see if that works better
Mhm.
than Royal Athletic Park, which I think it won't. I think the Royal Athletic Park experience was perfect. We had such a good time. And I don't know how much it costed them, how much they profited off of it, but putting the festival by the water in an adjacent park. I know I had a hotel closer to the waterfront, so my dad and I, we walked to the game. Jacob, you walked from where you live. Um,
Yeah.
it was pretty accessible for most people. I know I said you drove in, but I think there was a lot of hotels near it.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah, I
that was
drove in
perfect
and
for
there was free parking around it, right? So
Bowman solved
I
parking issues. Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah. He's just oh, excuse me. He's
if
just so
only he could be
amazing.
the mayor. If only he could be the mayor of Vancouver.
Yeah,
Like, it might be a conflict of interest, but
There you go.
no, you should be the
uh,
mayor.
some of his ideas could absolutely work in city proceedings, right?
Hmm.
So,
As
I
me
mean,
studying urban planning, I agree. But Bowman for mayor.
yeah. Yeah, that's it for purely BC Lions talk. But this is
Yep.
kind of an extension of this because we got the schedule to talk about now. I have it up here.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll just wait till you get to that. But yeah,
I got it.
we got the two preseason games in May, and I think after well, it said preseason week 3 because I imagine it's like 1, 2, 3, but it's uh I think after the 30th, yeah, between the 30th and the 7th we'll have a final off-season episode for that. But and then we're gonna have another off-season episode in April as well, but
Yep.
uh early April. But anyways,
Probably when the
I
NHL season ends.
yeah, when the NHL season ends, so that's the perfect time for the next episode. But yeah, so for the schedule for the Lions, in we're out of the gate. We're facing Western teams for 4 straight weeks, right? Like we got
Play Winnipeg twice in a row.
we play Edmonton the first week, and then Winnipeg. It's a home and home, so we play them on the road in week 2, and then we host them in week 3. And I mentioned this earlier in the show, but the big thing I noticed is that's the only Winnipeg game they're going to have, right? We're not going
Oh,
to face them after
Oh
June,
wow.
we only
right?
Wow.
played two of them.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at
So,
that.
So
like right off the bat, we're getting uh, 5 times Grey Cup appearing Bombers. Just it's just instantly like the difficulty just instantly spikes up, right? Just from that. But
we could
That's
either
that's
have
kind
our
of crazy. Can I
yeah, and
successes or
just
then
failures against them hanging over us for the rest of the season. So
I
yeah,
just want to
so
make a quick comment about the schedule graphic on the BC Lions website. I'm
yeah,
not a fan because they've got the home games on one side and the road games on another side. So it makes it look like the home game, like it makes me think that one game's on June 7th and the next game's on June 21st. But to see the game after June 7th, they have to go to the other side of the table.
oh
So if it
yeah,
were me, I would list them all in one column. I know that's kind of minor,
I
but
can now see some like
it's very
oddities on
confusing
it.
for me. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's mine. I don't mind it too much, but so that's nitpicky.
I know it
uh,
is, but that's just me.
yeah.
Last
So yeah,
year,
we got like last year.
I was gonna say big things. Last year we got a game on your birthday, Ascent. This year we get a
Yeah,
game on my birthday,
your birthday
August
this time,
16th.
so
Home game
we're
on my birthday.
There you go.
So we want to keep this going. Last year I said we won on your birthday. So hopefully we go 2 for 2 in section 214, podcast history birthdays.
oh
Sure
my
there's been
God,
a couple in the
that's
past.
also against Montreal, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, birthday games against in Montreal, right? That is yeah. So hopefully we beat them on your birthday too. So that's
The
yeah,
Grey
but
Cup
that's
champs no longer.
yeah, that's skipping ahead a little bit. So yeah, after the but two Winnipeg games that are somehow like the only ones we're gonna play like immediately at the beginning of the season. Then we get road game. Well, yeah, we're on a little bit of a road trip against Saskatchewan, Montreal, and Edmonton.
You're right. This graphic is
That'll
tough to follow.
yeah,
Three on the
that'll
right,
last us
one on the left.
from yeah, that'll last us from like late June until mid-July, and then we get a couple home games. So that's against Saskatchewan and Hamilton, and and then yeah,
Hamilton home.
and then road home road road home road road. So August 7th, week 10 is we're at Hamilton, so at the dojo with Tim Hortons donut shop. But I call it the dojo. Well, I know they call it the dojo in Little Caesars Arena for Detroit, but I'm calling it Hamilton the donut shop.
That's good.
Come on, let that go viral. The donut shop
Yeah.
and uh
Canadian Tire
uh
Center, the I don't know.
Senators, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then yeah, we host Montreal on the 16th of August, as mentioned, so your birthday game. So hopefully we win that one too. Yeah, it's actually the first half of the season is actually fairly challenging. Actually, might I think we might have a little bit of a struggle out the gate here, but we'll see. I mean, uh, then yeah, and
I'm
then
just looking at the schedule. I'm trying not to jump the gun here,
yeah.
but it's also really
Well,
challenging to read it.
yeah, we're gonna save our season predictions for our last off season episode, but yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a tough tough thing we got
Yep.
and it doesn't get any easier after the birthday game. It'll be on the road, Toronto and Ottawa. Unfortunately, the Ottawa game, like the Ottawa game, I think last no, yeah, actually no, it was 2 years ago. There was an Ottawa BC game that was on my birthday, but this is on the September the 5th. So it's the day before. uh just missed out on, so I guess I can call that my birthday game, but not really.
In spirit.
Uh in spirit it is. It's very, very adjacent to it. Uh
And
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
back-to-back against Ottawa. They got
yeah,
the
back to
5th
back into Ottawa.
on the
Yeah.
road and then the 12th at home.
Well, there's a bunch of back-to-backs.
And then wait a minute. Oh, wait, we don't play wait a minute. We don't play Calgary. Oh my God, we don't play Calgary until
Yep.
September 19th.
That's the thing I
Wow.
noticed. I was about to say it, but then you were I had further back. We won't
What?
see Vernon Adams until September 19th.
We
Until
get
September
Winnipeg out of
19th.
the way before Canada Day and don't play. Wow.
Yeah. Odd.
Yeah, we don't get to see Morgan Adams until
And
September 19th, and then yeah, it's only time will tell, like, if Calgary, because like we'll definitely know by then whether or not Calgary is you know bounced back into form or they're still bad, like last year and the year before that. uh as much as I like Vernon Adams, I hope the team fails constantly.
at least
Mhm.
on that,
Because
at least on that day.
yeah. uh Yeah, so and then the last 4 weeks of the season, it's majority home schedule, which is might be important if we do need to keep us going in a playoff locking in. So we're hosting Toronto, Calgary, and Edmonton, and then our final game of the season on the road against Saskatchewan, just like it was last year,
Oh yeah.
literally, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
which I hated that playoff game too, but again, yeah, it's kind of yeah. So I guess overall, like, this schedule is pretty weird, right? We're playing the 5-time Grey Cup appearing Bombers twice in the very beginning of the season, and then that's it, right?
Yep.
And then of course we don't play Calgary until mid-September, so that'll be a long time, right? So I mean, it's definitely a healthy balance of West and East teams in the first half of the season, but yeah.
Second year in a row, we got Ottawa just first 2 weeks of September. They're done with them.
And yeah,
Or it wasn't first 2 weeks of September, but we got over Ottawa pretty quickly. Like it was last week of August.
no, that was Touchdown Pacific. That was the Touchdown Pacific game, and then
Mhm.
yeah,
And the
the
week
week
before
before
that.
that it was Ottawa.
So
Yeah,
last 2 weeks of August, my mistake.
yeah,
Another home
yeah,
opener against Edmonton. So let's hope we shut them out this time.
yeah. Although Edmonton is definitely more improved. I mean, they do have, I believe, yeah, they have Fajardo now. So
Yeah. I don't know what to say
yeah,
about their quarterback situation. I think we
but
spoke on this in the last episode.
yeah, Trey Ford is still like just an enigma. Like we've seen he he's had he's had a lot of consistently good starts, and I have no idea why they're not what
Hmm.
they're doing with him. I it's like
Trey Ford.
it's like if I had like a really good cup of coffee in my hands, and then what Edmonton is doing is like, do I drink it or do I just
But in this
uh,
case, like we thought, I think everyone thought that Trey Ford was better than MBT last year. In this case, they got a second good cup of coffee in Cody Fajardo.
and Cody, we had recent Grey Cup champion on,
Yeah,
yeah, just yeah.
no.
I mean, I think it'll take a while before we get to our season predictions. Obviously, near the beginning of the season, but yeah, I mean, already from what I'm seeing of the schedule, I do. I mean, I am I am like, peeking behind the cards a little bit here, but I do think that BC can at least get 10 or 11 wins out of the season
Yeah.
because of how all the other teams went. And maybe Winnipeg, you know, well, we said that. Well, I mean, we kind of said that hesitantly. I mean, like when Winnipeg had that bad start last year, but nowadays we're like, I'm not resting until we see Winnipeg at like 1-8 or something,
Yes.
right? Or one and
I'm not
not
resting until they've like completely been eliminated from the playoffs. That's how
completely.
far I'm going. You can just never count them out.
Yeah, even with like five straight runs to the Grey Cup and winning twice, right? Like they're still going to be seen as like the crop of the cream of the crop of the CFL still, even though Toronto is the defending champion now. But they kind of had like a Nick Foles-esque Grey Cup
Yeah.
with
With
Arbuckle,
Arbuckle.
right? Yeah, and
I do want to say, and I mean, it really just popped into my mind right now. We were 9-9 last year. It felt like we deserved better than that. Um,
It
but
did.
I don't think we are not a worse team than last year. Don't
No.
that if it goes wrong. But we've created holes in our roster. We filled them, or we filled them from within. And the coaching
pretty
that was
quickly after,
questioned, we
yeah,
replaced them.
yeah,
Uh,
and yeah, it's like it's like well, it's not like it's more like a retool than anything. Right? I mean,
mhm.
this was like overall last year we did say it was a disappointing season compared to our expectations, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that this team is still like it, like once the Lions, and we've seen it in games where they won, where they look like this is the Grey Cup contender we envision them being, right? But and then there's just been frustrating losses where it's just they don't look like it at all, right? They look like they're in the Hamilton uh area, right? uh, they're in the Hamilton echelon of a bad team, but yeah, it's just yeah, we're looking for definitely definitely more improvement standings wise. Just I'll take second in the West as well. Right? I mean, you know, Grey Cup champion teams aren't necessarily always the best team in the league, right? Obviously, you know, as long as we can, as long as the team can, keep their head about themselves and just, not well. Clearly, they got a little bit too high after that 5-1 start, right? And then and then injuries happen, and it almost derailed the season. But wins in places were enough to keep us afloat. But I don't want to have to go through that again.
Same.
I just want,
Of course.
I just want, confidence throughout the season. Even if it's just with a loss here and there, right? Like
Consistency, because we didn't
consistency.
get that at all last season.
Yeah,
We got
especially.
roller coaster. I think we can say that comfortably now. Uh,
Yeah, I think the road games are going to be especially telling, and especially the Winnipeg games. Oh, yeah, yeah, the Winnipeg games too, right? That'll be
those are always fun.
we're going to find out pretty quickly what this team's made of, right?
Mhm.
Which I actually appreciate for the schedule makers. If there's one thing I can, give them kudos for this weird schedule that they had for us, right? Yeah, whoever you are, right? Thanks, I guess. We got the Bombers immediately. Yeah.
It's a
So
fun way to start the season. Entertaining, um, but decisive. Yeah.
decisive. Yeah, yeah. Like be definitely the first half of our next season is going to be. Our next season of the podcast will be. It'll be pretty white knuckling for us, right? Like we're gonna. Uh, I I mean, I can't wait for June, but at the same time, I'm like. Mm,
Buckle up for
I'm
June.
buckle up, yeah. I mean, I'm still cruising off the high of the Eagles Super Bowl championship, right?
Yeah,
I'm
we're all
like,
young.
I'm not gonna let, I'm not gonna let the fears of the CFL season, the dour risk for like the next, I don't know, month or so, right?
Yeah.
I'm very happy this year already, which I'm happy for. So uh, kind of redundant, but yeah. So yeah, I guess that'll be it for this second off-season episode for us. You know,
We
unless you have some concluding thoughts. I mean, I
um,
thought these past 2 months were very eventful, right? And not just in terms of our coverage of our bread and butter CFL game, but other things
yeah.
too. And
I mean, yeah, so many trades happened in NHL. We're not going to go into specifics of that. I mean, NBA's been crazy, NFL, Super Bowl, like a lot has happened. It's been a great 2 months for sports, especially if you're an Eagles fan. I just wanted to
yeah,
say to end
and
this
I
off,
yeah, and I just got this new phone case with an Eagles colors
green.
too. So yeah,
There you
midnight
go. That's
green.
great.
Hey, in a couple months, green will go back to being a bad color. So
Oh,
Exactly.
well,
all
not
orange
mi
from there.
orange. Well, actually, I'm already cheering for another orange team in baseball. But oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I get that's another kind of little thing I want to talk about. Santander going to the Blue Jays. Oats.
Tony Taters, he's a Blue Jay. He's gonna be our new Jose Bautista. No, I'm overreacting. I'm happy that
I
we got a
know.
power hitter, especially took one away from you guys. Um,
No,
so
and
I'll try not to rub it in as much as I can.
I know it's funny because this hat was just like lying upside down the whole
Yep.
time. Like, like
Yeah, you probably just
that's how
looked
I
at it and
feel.
you're like,
Uh, yeah, I'm sad to see Tony Tatum go. Like he was one of my favorite Orioles hitters, right? Even when as a whole, like in the playoffs, they were struggling to hit, but I didn't really find much fault with him through the season, right? Like yeah, he's gonna be like with the money the Blue Jays are paying him, I do think that he will be a much needed
yeah,
you know acquisition for helping the offense because like the offense was a problem for them
it was.
last year,
I'm
right?
glad you're saying these things. Like we needed more home runs desperately. We had only one hitter who could hit home runs. So hope we can sign Bregman or somebody, at least a little bit more to bolster the hitting core. But we signed Max Scherzer, but I'm not sure where things are going for the Jays. I think we'll stay mediocre. You guys
Yeah,
stay
well,
mediocre, maybe better.
Yeah, and I think the Orioles are going to be probably still not at least third in the AL East, maybe two.
Yeah,
I don't think they're. I think the Yankees are still going to be the team to beat in the AL East, and I don't like them.
sadly, yeah.
No, I was rooting for the Dodgers too, right? I was like, yeah,
Oh,
I don't mind that, but now we see what they've done, and they're like, oh my God, they have been just acquiring free agents left,
they're
right, and
pure
center.
evil.
They're like, oh God, what have we done, right?
What have we
They're,
done to
they're
deserve
just
this?
we have a new evil empire now, but again, it's in the National League, right? I mean, I root for the Cubs too, but they're been a long ways off of no World Series championship. But yeah, I mean,
Almost 10 years now. How about
yeah,
that?
I know. I'm just glad that I got my Super Bowl this year, but I hope there's
Yep.
more, deep ones to come, especially for hockey. I mean, this team maybe, and then or maybe even that team, Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
They're in the playoffs.
When will that
Like I'm
happen? What could
I'm
happen this year?
stunned. Yeah. I yeah, and of course the very, 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 very outside chance that Ottawa and Vancouver were playing the final. Uh,
Very
Wouldn't
outside
that be
chance.
just that would be just incredible.
yeah,
Bet
yeah.
your house on it. You lose it.
If that happened, I might be out of the one or two podcast episodes, depending on how long that series go. If it happens, right there, just like, oh, just
You'd put all your brain power in that series.
yeah,
Likewise, when Canucks made the final.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, we're just rambling a little bit at the end here. It's just what we do.
I'll say one
Yeah,
last
so
thing for myself. It was
yeah,
cool to record in here. Hopefully, I do it
Definitely.
again from Douglas College another time.
yeah, in the podcast studio too, right? And hopefully I'll be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to go. I'll be able to
Yep.
join you there too, just see what it's like. Uh, yeah, that'll be for like maybe next episode will be for April, so
Yep.
early April at least.
We'll plan
Maybe
that
if I
out.
could, yeah. Well, yeah. So that's kind of like the time frame that you'll be seeing us next. So uh, but yeah, I guess yeah, we're done. So I guess we'll
Yep.
just plug in our socials pretty quick. I will say this. I forgot to do this, but I think by the time of our next episode, I think we will have an official Blue Sky account as well. But for now, we're still on Twitter uh, and Instagram as well. So you can still, reach us on Twitter and Instagram at Section 214 Pod, and but the way you can directly reach us the fastest would be the our Gmail account, which is the Section 214. So that's SECTION at gmail.com. And yeah, this time I'm doing the contact suite this uh, yeah, so so by next episode, I think we'll have that Blue Sky account ready, and we'll announce that too. But for now, you can just reach us with those outlets. So yeah, uh, that's gonna be it for us for today. So yeah, we'll see you in April, and hopefully the Canucks can make the playoffs.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. All right,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
all
See you
crossed.
right.
guys next
See
time.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.